Hi everyone, Rebecca with my video check-in for week 15. Hope everyone's doing well and enjoying their placements. Things continue to go pretty well at the school. Just to remind everybody, I'm at a junior high school. I'm doing my internship as the school social worker. So, sorry, it's a little dark. I'm using someone else's computer at their house because I still don't have one. Anyways, um, yeah, a lot of what I've been doing the past few days is learning about the rating scales that they use to assess the students to determine what criteria they fall under for their IEPs. Coming up in January, we're doing all the annual reviews for the IEPs, which is, the treatment plans for each student to determine um, what specifications they have in class, what they need in the school setting to be successful. So it's been a lot of information and learning that whole process, which is pretty in depth. I'm finding out you can't really just you know base everything off of observations of the students and then just determine the interventions you need to use. You have to have data collection to back up what you're suggesting. You also have to have these rating scales to determine what is the best fit for each student. So I will actually be facilitating those IEP meetings coming up in January for my specific caseload of the students I've been meeting with. So I'm kind of nervous about that because I'm still not even, too clear on the whole lingo of everything that has to be discussed in that meeting. But I'll be prepared by the time that comes up. So looking forward to that. It'll be a good experience. Um, I also had a very interesting experience with a student who she has currently a 504 plan, which is not as in depth as an IEP, but it's a kind of like a watered down version of an IEP. And in the beginning of the school year, she had general anxiety that we saw. It originated with like gym class, and then it seemed to get worse throughout the year. Um, and it's gotten to the point where she can't even make it to class. She's in tears on a regular basis. And I don't know if I mentioned this in any previous videos, but she was just diagnosed with selective mutism as well as severe anxiety disorder. So we've kind of been at a loss of what to do with her. Every day we've just been doing the best we can to get her to class, but she doesn't stay for more than a few minutes and she ends up back in the office. So she's pretty much been using our office as a study hall, which is obviously not in her best interest, but up until now we really weren't sure what to do about the situation. So we had a meeting with her and her parents. Um, it went well. We actually did have to bring up the idea of doing like a homebound type program where if even being at school is so anxiety inducing that she can't, that it's almost making her worse, we didn't want to continue that. So we gave the option of having a teacher that actually goes to her home every day and tries to do her lessons in each class with her there at her home. Um, However, she has a therapist outside of school, and that therapist would have to be on board with that. But she just got a new therapist, so it's kind of a weird time, a transition time, so the therapist doesn't want to make that decision at this time. So we are meeting with the parents to decide what would be the best thing to do at this point. So I was actually very impressed and surprised with the flexibility that the school can offer. Again, being new in a school setting, my only point of reference with a school is when I was in school, and that was, many years ago. So I was very impressed to see how many accommodations they were able to make for her. Our principals in the meeting as well as myself and the other social worker, and we shared data we had been collecting about how often she's been able to make it to class, how many days that she was very tearful and visibly anxious, just how often she seems to be extremely anxious while at school. Um, so we shared all that information, and the parents shared all of their questions. So basically, we came up with a plan that she'll go to a few classes that she's comfortable with. Now, this plan was just put into place yesterday, so we will see how this actually goes. So she'll go to two classes in the morning that she thinks she can make it through every day, and then her mom will come and pick her up for a few classes in the middle of the day that she cannot make it to. and then her mom will drive her back in the afternoon to make it to her one other class, her math class, which is really important for her to be in because her grades have been slipping in that class. So, a lot of back and forth with the parents, a lot of adjustments for the school, the classes, and the teachers have to have work ready and things like that. But that's kind of all we could come up with at this time until we can get her IEP set up. So that was very interesting to see that whole process. And yeah, we'll just see how it goes. I'll be very curious to see where we go from here. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't, I'm not sure where we're going to go from there. It doesn't sound like anybody really is because we've never really encountered something like this at the school. Um, Also, I had a student this past week actually go into the hospital. She's had issues with depression for pretty much the entire school year. And very smart, very sweet girl, but you could just tell something was not right with her, and she just wasn't happy. And she actually admitted to her mom recently that she'd been cutting. So when the mom called us, we discussed it with her, and it was suggested that she get additional help. And it was actually determined that she should do an outpatient type day program for 3 weeks. So the placement there seems to be going good for now. She seems to be getting something out of it. She's in groups there. She meets with a therapist there. We have her schoolwork sent over to her, and we're in consistent contact with the mental health team at that program. So they say she's doing well, so hopefully she'll be back in school within the next 2 weeks, and we'll go from there with follow-up therapy. Um, it's hard to fit everything in that's gone on in the past few weeks. It's very busy all the time, just constant, students coming in with conflicts, different issues. We've had a few students this year come out to us and share with us that um, that they're gay and they don't know how to deal with that at this age, and there's been some conflicts with friends over those things. So those have been very interesting experiences to be a part of. I'm glad that I was able to be there for these conversations. So yeah, for now, that's kind of all that's going on. I don't really have any questions. I guess I would say that I've never worked with the gay lesbian population outside of like my personal life, like having friends that are, but as far as dealing with adolescents, if anybody has any input or suggestions along those lines at ways to make them more comfortable in talking to us about it and kind of helping them through this time in their life, if anyone has any ideas or input, that would be great to hear. So thank you, and I will talk to you guys next time.